Hello everyone and welcome to Propaganda with me, Connor Bromley, and my good friend Taff. And we're riled, aren't we, Taff? We are a little bit riled up right now, aren't we?
Yes, I am. I've had to put a jazzy shirt on to improve my mood because I would just be annoyed otherwise.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the shirt. So what we got on there? Flowers?
I don't know, just flowers, just Hawaiian stuff. It was one of my cruise shirts, and it's a really good choice of cruise shirt. You might think black, no, but nobody can see me dripping in sweat when I'm wearing this. So it's
nice.
Yeah, until it dries and you get the salt patches. But yeah, I've had this on today.
What a treat! What a treat! Yeah, we will be though. If predictions are to be had, Taff, we are going to be sweating a lot this season because we are going to be worrying about Sunderland's perilous position in the Premier League. So what we have decided to do is dive into it. Is there any truth to this? Are Sunderland going to get relegated? Are the pundits right? Some of the pundits, I must say, some pundits don't have us in trouble. Some pundits also say we'll be bad but still have us staying up. That seems to be the general, I think, is most people are like, oh, Sunderland might go down, but I think they'll be okay.
I think I have a general understanding about why this is the case and why they all pick us. But I think we should go through it first. But it's just, here we are again, same as last season. Last season, there was much more justification to say, might be relegated. But this season, I'm just not having it. I think it's there's a whole bunch of lazy punditry going on here, and I think we can talk about it at the end of it about why people are saying this about us. It's got my goat, it's got yours. I'm sure it's got all Sunderland fans' goats. So let's kick off some pre-season propaganda.
Let's do it. Okay, we've got pitch side here. This is Tom Garrett. Is that his name?
I think that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, before we do this, I do want to say, I don't know if you've seen this, but the pitch side have picked on Adam Pearson. Do you know the Newcastle YouTuber? I don't know if you've seen this.
I saw that at the end of last season. Look, it's not my sort of program. They seem to, it seems to be a studio version of like vloggers who go over the top for the clicks. And I get that appeals to some people because when you see these people outside of pitch side when they do other stuff, they're sort of really calm and come across really sensibly. Look, I get it. They're appealing to a demographic. They're doing it very well, and fair enough. And people make mistakes. They shouldn't really be picking on him, but they have been picking on him because of the way he talks. And I think the fundamental issue there is you're picking on somebody for something they can't change about themselves. And I think that's where you should draw the line. You can pick on his views, you can pick on, his obsession or his silliness or his wrongness or whatever, but not for the way he talks when he can't change it. I agree. I think that's wrong.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. And when he made the video about it, I was like, do you know what? They are doing that. They are absolutely just... And they've got such a big platform. And I don't think they realise the impact. Like, if that was happening to me and somebody was doing that to me with that big of a platform, I think it would have a massive detrimental impact on me. Like, I think you'd feel really almost like violated by it. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because, we featured Adam on the Propaganda show. I think generally in a reasonably positive way. I'd generally say that he's a pretty sound Newcastle, he seems to call it reasonably down the middle. So I always think when we put people on here, it's more out of we want to see their views. But generally, I think we found that his views are pretty sensible.
They have been recently, they have. But I think the thing about the pitch side is, whilst they might just be having a laugh amongst themselves, there are a lot of people who will feel validated in having a go at the way people speak when they can't help it. And it's just a poor example, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, let's see what Tom has to say.
Who can we mock?
Yeah. Pick on that Brummy accent.
Be surprised if the other two did.
Well, who's your 17th? This is an interesting one.
I've gone Sunderland.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
2 games a
the
week.
Extra games. Another year on Xhaka. They were bad second half of last season. Bad.
What about Robbie, though?
Really bad.
Oh, yeah, that goal was so good. You see it in the friendly.
Yeah, that is the most like, fuck me. Just a battering
It's so
ram,
good, isn't it?
But again, I think They should have too much quality still, I think. But the extra games is going to be a big.
Yeah,
They haven't been too busy in the transfer market either.
Nah.
They just started getting this player from France who's coming over.
Oh, there we are. We're about to talk about Matali there, which is a different conversation for a different day. But yeah, what do you make of that before we skip ahead?
Look, fundamentally, I think a lot of people are ending up putting us 17th because they don't know who to put 17th. And I think they look at a lot of teams down the division there, and they either don't know about us or they just don't know where to put things. And I just think it's an easy thing to say. I don't think there's much thought behind it. But the answer he gives there, I think we can talk about it later, but I think that's garbage. The second half of the season that we were rubbish in. There's all sorts of things wrong with the view that they say there. All of our players have improved. Some of the young ones dramatically. You think of Talby in October compared to Talby now. It looks a vastly improved player. Rig, Xhaka being a year older. Well, fair enough. But a couple of months ago, he was posting some of the best recovery and best passing percentages in the World Cup amongst all the greatest players. I mean, it's just daft, really. I think it's a bit lazy.
Xhaka is one of them players as well that I don't think age will catch up to him particularly quickly, because it's not like he relies on blister and pace. It's nous with him. It's positional. It's what he's doing on the pitch. It's the way he guides everyone round. Like, I think Xhaka will probably be able to play until his late 30s. I think Sunderland could have Granit Xhaka playing for them for the duration of that. Well, he's got another year in his contract after this one. I think there's an optional extension in there. I think Xhaka could well sign another extension at Sunderland and play to 38, 39, because I just don't think what he brings is necessarily dictated by age. It's not like he's a winger. Like Salah fell off a cliff last season. But why did he fall off a cliff last season? Because Mo Salah relies on blister and pace and that sharp burst of energy and once he lost that, it became very easy to defend. He then was aware he'd lost it, so he started being a bit safer in his play, which meant he wasn't scoring the same sort of goals, and he fell off a cliff. But with defensive midfielders, Paul Scholes went to like 40 years old. Carrick went mid to late 30s. There's lots of these players that play a similar position than him that go on for quite a long time, because the position, yes, it is demanding in the sense he covers yards, but it's not like explosive sprints. So the things that'll catch up to you are not the things that are going to catch up to him.
No. I think there are multiple reasons why 17th is a lazy pick. And he says it, he kind of admits it there himself. I think they've got too much to go down. And then he comes up with these waffly reasons that aren't right. The squad hasn't improved much. Well, I think it has. They've all had longer to play. Probably didn't start playing till like November. So I think these reasons are not really best thought out, and I think they're putting a 17th because they don't know who else to put there. They've got a bunch of teams at the bottom, beyond the top six, which it's an excellent YouTube channel, that, by the way.
Beyond the big six, that's what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Beyond the big six.
Yeah.
Beyond them, I think sometimes these people, unless it's their own team, don't know much about them. So I think they just sort of say, who might be a bit weak? Well, maybe the people who came up last season who haven't added anything. And I just think, I don't agree with it.
This is the Newcastle fan, Lewis Bowden. What's he got to say?
Tigers, 19th Ipswich, 18th Sunderland. What? This is not. I genuinely. Can I just say it? Like, genuinely, I understand. I'm not going to say it's not completely agenda, but it is off the logic of. No, I'm sorry. Europa League is way too soon. They haven't made any crazy signings. Yes, they kept people, but also I completely agree that they weren't actually as good as everyone's remembering off their league position. Like, as a football team, they weren't as good. And always in the second season, when you're up, it is completely different story. Like teams, you're not now unknown. Like teams know what you like. They know exactly. It happened to Leeds with Bielsa, and Leeds came up and they were really, really aggressive, and they caught teams off guard.
Your reasoning is so sound, but has it got anything to do with them doing the double over and finishing higher?
Do you know what? Like, realistically, they probably bet they still do. Fucking double on us this season.
Well, but they haven't.
No, they're going to come.
Well, at least he's honest about doing the double.
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, what can you say? 18th. It's lazy. I don't agree. I think we'll get more of it. You'll get more of my explanation. I'm going to have to take some tranquilizer.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sorry.
That's fine. You don't have to apologise to me. Carlin. Oh, that's a weak choice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I hate Carlin. Horrible.
Okay. It's in the house.
You've offended us.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll drink it quickly.
You should. Yeah, down it. I bet there'll be people in the comments.
Get another one.
Will people in the comments be agreeing with me there? Let us know. Do you like Carlin? Do you not? But I personally am not a fan. Especially it's served at the Stadium of Light, and no,
it's probably flat. Go on then.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
We got Steve Bruce. He's got a big fat head.
I can't believe you're going to make me watch this again.
Yeah, I hope I've got the right bit, but I think I have. Right. Also, just realised that I've called Steve Bruce's appearance, which I probably shouldn't have done really, but there we are. I was just going with the song. There was a song, wasn't there?
Well, I remember a resounding chant around the ground that even I sort of went, "Oof, that's a bit mean." That get out of our club. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. I remember all that one. Yeah, I do. Anyway, what's he got to say?
Club, and I really, I hope not, but their results towards the back end of the season weren't very good, and they haven't really added to the squad at all. So I worry about them a little bit. They would be my 3 or 4 standout ones, the 3 teams that got promoted.
There we are, 3 teams that got promoted and Sunderland, yeah.
Because we had a terrible back end. You know, there is a lot to be said for keeping people active with care in the community for the aged, but I think that is taking it too far. He shouldn't be on being allowed to spout that kind of rubbish.
Well,
I know you don't want to naysay an old man. You've got to show some respect, but
should we look?
Wrong. Yeah.
Should we just check? So these are Sunderland's results back end of the season. So if we look here, start of the season's very, very good, very positive. Yep. Then from this win here, I don't know if you remember this game, but there was a win there which was lovely.
I don't think I don't think we scored. We did. Oh.
No, I think it's was it a guy like a big fella?
Big signing. They had so many big signings.
Yeah, but he was really good in the air. Big guy, tall, centre forward guy. Oh, what's his name?
Oh, ready? Walter
No, Mackin. That's the one. No,
Walter Mackin.
Yeah, Walter Marder. That's what it is.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, so we beat them, the visitors, 1-0. Then AFCON started and we struggled, 4 draws and a defeat through AFCON. Actually, technically AFCON stretched all the way. The West Ham game was the first game everyone was back, I think. So
that's
we
right.
got 1 win, 4 draws and a defeat in there. We then lost Granit Xhaka to injury after Palace.
Mm-hmm.
So this next period here, up to Bournemouth away, Xhaka is not playing. So we won 1 and lost 4. That was the worst period Sunderland had in the season, was this little segment here. Then, sort of last 10 games, would you say, is the final period of the season? Sunderland got a draw away at 6th place Bournemouth. 1 away under the lights. Under the lights.
So Leeds didn't beat us at all last season, despite playing our reserves at one point during AFCON.
Yeah. Actually, I think the weakest team we played all season was the team that played Leeds this night, to be fair.
Right.
So yeah, we won it under the lights at Leeds, which is always impossible. We then lost against Brighton, which maybe this is the one Steve Bruce is referring to. We then won back-to-back games. This one against Newcastle. I don't know. Do you remember that one?
Did they score first again?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think people scored first again?
Do you think people are getting tired of our failing to remember shtick that we do every time whenever we talk about this game?
I don't care. Their players scored first again, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I think it's so funny that we've not even planned to ever do that, and we always do it every time. We just forget what happened. Anyway, we beat Newcastle at 2-1. Brian Bromley scored the winner. We then beat Spurs 1-0. Where Nordy Mukiele scored. We then lost 4-3 in a dramatic game at Aston Villa where we should have won it but lost. This one against Nottingham Forest. You know, that's the glaring one. And then we finished the season with 2 wins and 2 draws and qualified for the Europa League. So actually, if we look at it, Steve, last 10 games, we got 1, 4, 7, 10, 11, 12, 15. We pick up 18 points from our last 10 games.
I
Is
think
that a
that's
bad
12.
way to end the season? No, 28 to 38.
Yeah. I think that's. Is that not a 12 game?
Oh, it's 11.
11.
Yeah,
11. How many points in 11 games?
18.
18 points in 11 games. Wow, so that's like 1.6 points a game. What is that? What would that get you over a season? What kind of form is that?
I don't know, 65, something like that. I don't know.
Really? So let me just have a think about that. 1.6 times 38?
Yeah.
About 61 points.
Oh, there we are.
So our last 10 games, marvellous, 61 points.
Well, is our last 10 games better than our first? So we got first 11 games of the season, 3, 6, 7, 8, 11, 14, 17, 8. We picked up one more point in the first 11 compared to the last 11. So the only thing I can think is, did Steve Bruce have Sunderland down as finishing like top 4 last season? Like, is he disappointed because we didn't finish in the top 4 because he was that adamant we were that good?
Well, I don't know, but last season, if we had 61 points, which is our form in the last 11 games, would get you 5th place, 1 point ahead of Liverpool. It would have got you Champions League last season. I mean, if that's terrible form, but falling off form in the second half of the season, then I cannot fathom to understand what these people are talking about.
No, I don't get it either. It's lazy again. I mean, that's what frustrates me about
the last
this.
11 games of the season is Champions League form. That's ridiculous that these people are saying. Oh, terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. In a second.
This is why we're here. This is why we're here, to put the record straight with these clowns.
So we've got this from SDS Pod.
Yeah, you can zoom in here.
I don't know who SDS Pod are.
Neither do I. But you can zoom in on this if you. There you go. I think we only need the top bit. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Do Sunderland stand a real chance this season to be relegated? That is the question. So let's.
I've got Sunderland going down.
Oh,
you tried it last season, bro.
Give it a rest, man.
You tried it last season.
Give it a rest, man.
It's got nothing to do with
I think they'll fall off massively.
I won't move you. It's got nothing. No, it's got nothing to do with last season.
They're having a shocking window.
No, they will fall off because they got Europe as well. But not enough to relegate. I think
they have had no sign except for Mounier. They're playing European football.
Yes,
they went down. They fell off towards the end of last season. With that no one is talking about. I don't think their depth is massively great. I actually think. Don't be surprised if you see them around relegation and then boom.
No, I agree they will fall off.
Relegated.
But you're saying relegated.
I think relegated. I think they'll get relegated. Bro, second season syndrome. We've seen it. We've seen it happen before. We've seen it happen before.
Can't take it, Connor. I can't take it. Second season syndrome. And I mean, he should really wonder. I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of people talking about it. But when he says their form fell off a cliff at the end of last season and no one's talking about it, it's because our form was Champions League form. That's what it is. But sadly, there are plenty talking about it.
Yeah, it's like it's been talked into existence. It's like, you know, he's probably watched the Steve Bruce clip, or Steve Bruce has watched their clip, and people have just accepted it. I think it's because Sunderland was seen at the start of the season of having this hot start. Even though we've just worked out that actually there's 1 point difference between the start and the end. They were seen as having this lovely hot start of the season. And everyone remembers, I think, things in the first half of the season. So, like, the win at Chelsea's first half of the season, win against Newcastle, the West Ham game. People are remembering those moments, and they're not remembering the ones at the end of the season, because it wasn't as notable at that time, because we were already, you know, safe and secure. So, I think it's false memories. I don't get it.
Sounds like a night out from my perspective. A hot start and then fall off a cliff later on.
Yeah. But you come roaring back in this instance.
Do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you were Sunderland,
maybe like Sunderland, I go home with no new signings, so you know.
Yeah. Just pick up a 34-year-old.
Oh well, I think we should move on.
Yeah. Okay. Right, we're gonna do Matt SB. Who is a
lovely, inoffensive chap.
Yes, who has started a new Coventry City podcast, so you can check that out as well if you want to. Anyway, this is his 1 to 20, and as we can see, we are not in the bottom 7. But we are going to be 13th, so we'll see what he has got to say about Sunderland.
By some distance. I'm going to have them in 14th. And just ahead of them, I'm going to give the bragging rights in the northeast to Sunderland. And the difference might be just a few points, and that'll probably be the head-to-head games where Sunderland always seem to beat Newcastle.
Everybody is saying
13th.
this. It bothers me.
I want to know if Sunderland fans are happy with that. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because obviously that's 6 places down the table on last season. But how sustainable is it to finish in the top 7 again? I mean, the trajectory under Regis Labrie to go from, where were they? 16th in the Championship to 4th in the Championship to 7th in the Premier League. If you keep doing that, they're going to win the Premier League within a year or two. I think eventually you hit the buffers, you hit a bit of a glass ceiling. That's not to say Sunderland are not a big club, they certainly are. And here's a prediction. I think Sunderland are going to get to at least the Europa League semi-finals, maybe even the final. Oof. But that's where there could be some drawbacks. Sunderland do have a good team, a reasonable squad. The depth still needs a bit of work, I think, and there's still time for them to bring in more players. Really pleased they've held on to Granit Xhaka, I must say, because when there was links to him going away, I was like, oh no.
Anyway.
He's not a real Coventry fan, is he?
No, you wanted him to put us like 20th.
Well, because real Coventry fans have just got this chip on their shoulder and sass about us, and he never does. Look, that's a pretty reasonable assessment, isn't it?
But I think I have Sunderland 13th, maybe 12th or 13th. I think.
But I think anything from sort of 8th to 12th or 13th is pretty interchangeable with the teams you're talking about there.
I would say if I look at his bottom 8 there, I think that I have the same. I've got the same bottom 7 up to Sunderland, and then I think I've got Leeds 13th and Sunderland 12th. I think is what I've done. So like I'm pretty much in agreement with him. I think Fulham are the most likely to drop, and I would have had Ipswich staying up, not Coventry, but I think Fulham's the most likely to drop in. I think Palace are weaker than Sunderland, and they've got the European games, but I think Palace's squad, you'd rather have our squad than theirs. Everton, I think, are up the creek at the moment. I think that they've got loads of issues, and I think Newcastle could finish anywhere from 18th to 6th, and I wouldn't be surprised. They are very, very difficult to call right now.
I know, but I don't like this. Everyone is talking about Newcastle losing the derbies again, and you just know what's going to happen, don't you?
Yeah. What, they'll do well?
Well, I don't think they will, but they'll probably win a derby game just because everyone says they won't. That's the way fate likes to vomit on your expectations, doesn't it?
Yeah, but as you get closer to that game, what'll happen is the narrative will swing, won't it? Newcastle will start feeling that, pre-derby day confidence. I think naturally we as Sunderland we come into our shells a little bit more, and we just sort of, because we're not idiots. I'm not saying all Newcastle fans are, they're not. But we are much more reserved as a fan base, and we don't want to put it out there that we're, better and we're going to do this, that and the other, because we know it can blow back in your face, whereas they are very willing to go, we're going to win that derby game, you're going to lose, we're going to get the bragging rights, 6 easy points, yada yada, all that good stuff. And I think that's the difference. I think that's one of the reasons why we do well and they don't.
Well, I think you're right. I certainly feel nervous about all the bragging about we're gonna poss them, So,
yeah. Shall we see what Matt SB's?
No, we just saw him.
Sister.
Oh, his sister, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. I'll just make sure I'm on the right point. Yeah, I am. Okay.
Because they do weekly predictions together, don't they? They do weekly predictions together, don't they?
Yeah. So I'll share this on screen, otherwise you'll not be able to watch it. So yeah, this is her finishing off her bottom 5. Sunderland are going to be in the 15th place spot.
And the extra games is not going to do them any favours.
No, but it's a harder competition, isn't it? Yeah. So you've got to put a stronger team out.
Yeah.
I agree. I've got Palace 16th as well. So the only difference so far is Fulham and Coventry. You've swapped them round.
Right.
Anyway, 15th, Sophie.
I've got Sunderland. Again, same argument with Palace and being in Europe. I think they might struggle. They've not got the biggest squad, again, to be able to rotate and actually put a strong team out. I don't want to say it's like an easy excuse to say when a team comes up, they can be a bit of a surprise package, and then the next season they have a massive drop-off. But I do see that happening with Sunderland. I still think they've got enough to stay up, and I do think they were good last season. But it's just, if you look at like how many goals they scored and how many goals they were projected to score, it's not enough to finish much higher than the other teams for me.
Yeah, Connor, this is your favourite topic, isn't it? Sunderland will be lower because of XG. You love this.
I was just about to jump in there and talk about that. Do you think, though, there's any, in all seriousness, I'm not going to just sit and hammer XG. Do you think there's any validity to the idea that if you outperform your XG one season, the next season you won't do it again? Because there are certain players that always outperform their XG. So, for example, Harry Wilson outperforms his XG every year. It's just the only one that's came in my head.
But you are of the opinion that he won't have such a good season this year either.
Yeah, but that's for different reasons.
Okay. Not XG ones.
No, because I never knew the XG stuff until a Leeds fan pointed it out the other week, which is why it was in my head. But yeah, do you think there's any validity to that XG? Does it come and bite you in the arse? It hasn't for Aston Villa, and they always outperform theirs.
No, it doesn't. And the fundamental misuse of statistics here, it's what Opta suffer from as well, but we'll get to that later, is that you cannot make a prediction on how Sunderland are going to do against their XG this season because they're not playing it yet. You can't base it on what they did last season. You've seen us play in pre-season. We're much better drilled. We're much better organised. Some of the players have made great leaps forward. And at the last sort of 4 or 5 games of last season and what you've seen in pre-season, we play different type of football. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with our signings, but if you get Mathali, think about that as a player. You're having 2 very tall, very aggressive defensively, very athletic fullbacks who can run high up the field. That's incredibly powerful. And you add a right winger in there who can defend. And the way we have been playing differently, our aggressive press, we're just very different. And you can't look at last season's XG where we had a new team, lots of very young players. We were quite reserved for 2/3 of it, and we had AFCON and a Xhaka injury. You can't say, well, that XG, I'm just going to slap right on what you're doing now and say it's the same thing. You can't do that. But people seem very willing to do that. And it's the problem that Opta has with its supercomputer predictions as well. Thinking, well, you will do exactly what you did last year and the year before. And that's going to be my calculation for you this year. It doesn't work that way.
Do you think one of the reasons why it's coming up, because I feel like what people do when they do their 1-20s, it's certainly what I do. I look at like the business that teams have done, and I think humans kind of naturally always, we're very adventurous people, and I think we are always searching for the new thing. So I think when we see a team make 7 signings, a new manager, and everything's fresh, we immediately look at it and go, oh, well, look at those. Like they are flying, they are doing this, that, and the other. And the team that sits there and does nothing, which is what Sunderland have pretty much done at this point, you go, well, that's stale. Everyone knows what it is, so therefore it's going to struggle. Do you think there's like a bit of that in this?
A little bit, but I'm not entirely convinced that is exactly what we do. Because Newcastle have made a hatful of signings and a new manager, and we're not saying, wow, look at that shiny new thing, they're going to do great.
Yeah, true.
So we don't do that. But I do think there is something in this, because there is that old concept, which I'm surprised people haven't rolled out. That old adage of if you're not buying new players, if you're not moving forward, you're standing still, or if you're standing still, you're falling behind. And that's normally what they say about the purchase of new players. But I think it's different. I heard Craig Hope do an interview today about Newcastle's woes, and he quoted Kevin Keegan, which I thought was a really good quote, actually. He says, who worry less about transfer signings and incomings. But he said, when I get a new transfer signing, when I get a new incoming, they need to be better than what I already have. And that's the only thing we should be concerned about. Not the volume, not the number. They should be better than what I already have. And you can understand why Craig Hope used that quote, because that's not what's happening at Newcastle United. So I think it's easy to look at the numbers and say yada, 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 but are they better? I think you look at the signings that Leeds United have made, and that's why people are so willing to put them higher up the table, because they have made signings that do improve their first 11. So I don't know. I just think it's also really hard, because most people, when they judge where a team is going to finish, they do, like you do, and I did the same when I did my 1-20. We think about the signings that they've made, and you try and qualify that with how does it improve them. and what's their depth like. But also, I think half of the argument is people saying, what's the manager like? Because I don't think everyone's racing to put Chelsea high up the table because of the signings they've made. I think everyone's racing to put Chelsea high up the table because Alonso is the manager. And that's what we do. We judge people by managers. And do you know what? We should all be really offended at these projections for Sunderland to be so low, because it shows absolutely no faith and no respect in Régis Lebris. And you went from people like Mark Goldbridge last season saying, utter disrespect, we should have paid much more credit to Régis Lebris and Sunderland for what they've done in finishing 7th. That's an astonishing achievement in the modern age of the Premier League. I don't know if that will be repeated again, actually. Team coming up like that in the playoffs to finish in the Europa League. It's astonishing. And the same people are now looking at Régis Lebris and saying, you're no good, mate.
Yeah, I think that as well, you have a thing where last season we made a mockery of everyone. I would venture to guess that the ones that we're seeing predicting Sunderland to go down probably last season had Sunderland going down as well. And they all probably think, it'll get them in the end. It'll get them in the end. Oh, on another pint of air.
No. I'm finishing off that. I'm finishing off that first one.
Okay. Right, Jeff Stelling. He predicts the final.
He's from Hartlepool. Throw us a bone, Jeff. Throw us a bone.
He's predicting the final Premier League table. I've not actually seen this video yet, so I don't know where he actually has us. So let's see.
Well, Premier League. So here we go. Arsenal to win it.
Let's skip on a bit. I did not mark the place here.
How far?
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh! I've spoiled it.
Forest 12, Brentford 13, Bournemouth 14, Coventry 15. Oh, Sunderland 16th, Palace 17th, and then Ipswich, Fulham, and Hull. And I've left.
How has he got Newcastle in 7th?
Well, I think that this might be an interesting time to look at the Opta table. The Opta prediction.
Okay, should we switch over to Opta?
Let's switch over to the link for the Opta table. And bear in mind, he's got us 15th or 16th.
So predicted, I presume we're looking at.
The predicted, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And they have Newcastle 7th. And Sunderland
17th.
17th. So I don't think his table is too different to the Opta table, and I think he's taken his influence from that.
Yeah, the only thing he's done is swap Fulham in it. He's put Fulham in the bottom 3.
Yeah. He's got us a place higher, but that's probably because he puts Fulham down there.
So he's got expected points. They've got They've got Hull on 40 points expected.
No.
Yeah, they do. Expected points here.
Expected. Is that not the? Oh, okay.
No, so you've got expected points, title, UCL, Europa League, relegation percentage. So the expected points here, Newcastle are expected to finish on 54, well 53.9, but 54. And then you scroll down, Sunderland are expected to finish on 45, but he's got 44 from Coventry, 43 from Ipswich, and 40 from Hull. So I think what's happened there is they've looked at Sunderland and Leeds, who finished on 54 and like 48 or 49. So that's an average of what, 51, 52. You've probably put Hull, Burnley's average in there, so they finished with 20, which probably brings it down a bit. But I think they've looked at what Sunderland and Leeds did and put the newly promoted teams higher. I think Sunderland, they've got a legacy thing with them because we've been predicted to basically finish bottom of the league by Opta for the last 3 years. I think they had us getting relegated in the Championship under Lebris, had us relegated last season, the only team that had a 0% chance of winning the Premier League last season. And then this season it's got us finishing bottom of the rest.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's not the only way that Opta make predictions, and their supercomputer. They were bragging about this, saying the computer has run the league 10,000 times and then taken the average of what's gone on to arrive at these percentages for points and things like that. So the way that they calculate it in Opta is completely flawed because you can't calculate, particularly last season, Sunderland being in the league because they haven't been in the league for 6 years or whatever it is. So that's what they do. Coventry, Ipswich, and Hull's points, particularly Hull, are made up from the from the playoff winners' points who previously got promoted. So their high points will be raised because we did so well last season. That's why. So, but it's ludicrous to say that Hull will score in the same kind of fashion that Sunderland did last season. And so that's what all of this is about. It's about, you can do, to some extent, you can do it with Ipswich because they were there 2 years ago. But then you add in the other teams who came second in the division, and how did they do? And you give them a spread of their points there. So it's ridiculous. You can't predict how these teams will do based upon how other teams did in previous seasons that weren't them. It's just daft. And part of the modelling for this includes the Opta Power Rankings. Have you ever seen that?
I know what it is, yeah.
How powerful is your team globally? And they give you a point score with it based on, money, turnover, stuff like that. So power rankings are coming into the forecast for points here, which is daft. But their argument is, well, the most powerful teams score the most points. So they model that. And it's not the only thing that goes into this as well. They also take in the bookies odds as well. And the bookies odds are they have something to do with it, but they also reflect where the money is bet, not the actual, not necessarily the statistical chance of something happening. So the sorts of things that go into that Opta forecast are not anything to do with quite often, particularly the promoted teams, the actual team and the players that have there, or the manager, or the way they play. It's to do with other stuff, power rankings, odds on betting sites, and how did a promoted team that wasn't you with different players do? It's absurd.
I think if there's a Sunderland fan, which there probably isn't, but if there's a Sunderland fan worried about it, what I'd say is that the last 2 years we have actually the last 4 years really, since we got promoted back to the Championship, we have completely defied Opta. Because the first year we were in the Championship, it predicted us to finish lower in the Premier League table. In the Championship table, we got in the playoffs. The second season, I think it predicted us to finish 5th, and we were like 16th. Then it predicted us to finish 21st or 22nd, and we got the playoffs and got promoted. Last season, we were 20th, we finished 7th. This season, it's got us 17th, so no reason to give it. Certainly on Sunderland, it has got no validity in what we are.
Jeff Stelling gave the same kind of league table. So 7th are up. The reason Newcastle is 7th there is because of their prior performance, not because of what they're doing right now. So it's ridiculous. But I think that's also why Jeff has gone there. He's looking at, I think he's taken a great inspiration from the Opta predictions with the best will in the world. So,
let's check out ESPN. What are they saying? Because ESPN, I think they've can't say that word. I'm going to use a different word.
Joined together.
Correlated. Joined together. Yeah, there we go. We got there. All their predictions. So we'll scroll down slowly. No surprises. Arsenal 1, City 2, Chelsea 3, 4, Man United 5th, Tottenham in 6th, Villa 7th, Brighton down there in 8th, Newcastle up in 11th. Forest 12, Leeds, still not seeing Sunderland here. We've got Palace 12th, Everton, Sunderland, obviously, yeah.
Wow.
There we are. Oof. So
but look at that. Look at that. Look how close we are. No, that's not close. We're clearly 17th. I just can't see us finishing so low.
What's interesting is none of their pundits have predicted Sunderland to finish in the bottom 3. They've all said 13th to 17th.
Look, 13th I think is plausible given what we have to do. I think the squad will be fuller by then. But you cannot have watched us for the last 5 games of last season, and you cannot have watched pre-season and think that is a relegation threatened side. They're just too organised, and some of the players so much better than last season. I just can't see it. There's no AFCON. We don't lose Siddiqui. We don't lose Diarra, who will be fit for this season and ready to go. It's just bizarre. Brian Brobby ready from the off and not November, trying to ease into the team. I just don't understand it. None of it fits with what we see as Sunderland fans. So.
Yeah, it is strange. And Opta, we'll do them next because they're pretty much following the same.
No, we just did Opta.
No, this is. Sorry. Athletic, I meant. Same
the
thing.
Athletic, yeah.
I'll just double check that I'm on. Just make sure I'm on the right. Yeah. Right, so this is what
we've got charts.
The Athletic.
Look at the size of that tablet on the table.
Yeah, I do really.
I have screen envy.
I quite like that setup. Anyway, we'll watch this. What they've got to say about Sunderland.
Sunderland, which is maybe incredibly controversial given they had an incredible season last season, but I think they overperformed a little bit last season according to the underlying numbers. Now take that with a pinch of salt. I don't think that the underlying numbers always represent where a team should finish. There's explanations for why a team might overperform, but I do think that they probably did overperform the level that they were at. I think add into the fact that they haven't done a huge amount of bolstering of the squad, and they've got Europe next season. I think it could be a bit of an interesting season for them.
Yeah, I was looking at them. I think they signed really well last season, and I was surprised they finished up so high. It was no performance. Expected numbers show that there's slight variances, but I think they're good, and I think they're comfortably a mid-table. So this is one of the only places we might diverge quite a lot. I think they'll be about 12th. Another team I'm pretty sure could be in amongst the bad.
Stop it. I lost my patience there when the first man started talking about underlying numbers. XG. It's intolerable. I don't know if I can make the whole of this episode listening to this garbage. And they had the Mags 8th and 9th as well.
Yeah, they had them really high. And they'd said, to be fair, I did watch the full video, and they'd said for Newcastle, they both didn't know where to put them, and they both ended up going high on them. I don't know why they came to that thought process. I think what's really interesting is that if you were to objectively look at Sunderland's squad, right? So just look at who we've got. In fact, I can pull it on the screen. I can pull my lovely depth chart up, which I've not updated for a few days, so maybe it could be wrong.
There's been no need to update it all summer, has there?
That's true. I've just not updated like the outgoings. So yeah, anyway. So if you look at Sunderland's squad, right, so the first 11 here, where we don't have a right winger sorted, we'll probably put in, I don't know, Angulo might play out there. If we look at where we are, this team, it is stronger than Newcastle's starting 11 right now. Just is. There's no there's no argument about that.
No, there's not a single player from their first 11 who gets in. Barnes, is he a right winger?
No, he's a left.
Well, we've got plenty
on the right. They've got Alanga and Jacob Murphy. So, but yeah, you look at. I feel like a lot of people just forget about how good some of these players are. Like the fact is that I think our strongest 11 next season probably doesn't have Dan Ballard in it, which is madness. Trey Hume potentially, if we sign a right winger, wouldn't be in it. You've got Ronaldo. Used to play for Atletico Madrid. He's going to be on the depending on what happens with this new left back situation. We've still got Granit Xhaka, who is statistically one of the best players in the Premier League in that position. Noah Sadiq is a year older. Enzo Lefebvre is going to be playing in his actual position.
Playing in the 10.
In his actual position. We've got, as you keep saying, Brian Brobby, who's going to be there from the start of the season. I don't really understand how anyone could look at this and think 17th. I don't understand how somebody could look at this squad of players and think that it could be in it. I get that there's European games, but you know what Europe does help you with, which is something nobody talks about. So do you remember when we lost them? I think we lost 4 out of 5 in that January-February period. Yeah. If you go on a run in the Premier League where you maybe draw a couple and lose a couple, but you are able to go into Europe and play a couple of easier games at home. Certainly first half of the season, you play a pot 4 team, pot 3 team, and you get a couple of wins there doing that. That will help you massively. Whereas when you're in the Premier League now, because if you're not in Europe, they play once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on if there's FA Cup games and stuff. If you lose a game, you've got so long to wait until you're back on the horse. Whereas if you are playing Thursday, Sunday, and you're playing relentlessly all them games, it gives you an opportunity to basically not rest on that previous result, because you move on to the next game, and I think it's an underrated thing that people aren't really talking about, the momentum that we could get by winning. Like if we, for example, won Europa League game, then we won in the Premier League at the weekend, and then we won the next Europa League game, you've suddenly won 3 games in a row, and everything's all rosy in the garden. And I just think people are just immediately going, Europe is a negative for a football club. It's not a negative though for Arsenal and all that.
I'm not sure that Sunderland fans are saying that.
No, I'm talking about the pundits. The pundits I'm talking about.
they're combining that with, I don't really know your club, XG, second season syndrome. It's all of it's just garbage. I don't. If you're going to show me somebody else talking about underlying data and second season syndrome, I might not be able to cope.
I don't know if I've got any more stuff. I've got though. We've got Connor McGilligan.
He should know his audience. Surely.
Yeah. So let's get Connor McGilligan up and ready to go.
He doesn't want to offend his largest audience, does he?
Well, you can see that he's going to have a pretty low down, but let's see what he's got to say.
They've been in around the bottom three, but there's too many good players there for me to be able to be having a conversation with Palace in the relegation zone. I'm probably going to get a bit of flack for this, but 16th is Sunderland, and as you Sunderland fans know, I've always been very complimentary of Sunderland, very complimentary of their rise.
Big audience here, that's why, Mara.
Very complimentary of the fan base, the stadium of light, the recruitment, the energy that Sunderland provided in the Premier League last season. I actually think there's 2 points here. Sunderland staying in the league with having Europe as well will be an unbelievable achievement. I think they're close to Mattelli as well, someone who was spoken about on the transfer show, which would be a top signing as well. Absolute high flying 6'2" left wing back. That looks like a real top signing. I think Sunderland will actually go far in Europe. I think they're going to go far in Europe, and I think naturally that will take the focus a little bit, as we've seen multiple times over the years. Big squads and all this sort of stuff, but teams naturally drop off a little bit. What I would say as well is 16th place is not a bad spot at all, and kind of when you look at the other clubs in the round, they don't have Europe. Everton, Newcastle, Leeds, Forest. They don't have Europe. Sunderland are going to have to balance that, and I think it will stretch that squad a bit. They've not done that much when it comes to business. They had a very settled squad last season, and the squad did well. I just think it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge this time. If this was Leeds, or if this was Forest, or if this was Everton or Brentford, I'd be having the same conversation. I think they'd all struggle, but I think Sunderland will stay up. I also think they'll do really well in Europe, but I've got Sunderland in 16th.
Okay, I mean, he was at pains to try and excuse himself there, but really, I mean, do we really have a worse team than also Europe-bound Crystal Palace?
Would the argument be that because they were in Europe last season, they've been through it? They've also changed manager though, which is a pretty. I think there's a presumption with the change of managers that like the manager change will be all right. Like
I don't think across the pitch they've got some decent players. Sarr. I think Strand Larsen flatters to deceive. Munoz, but he might even go.
You've still got Mateta.
Yeah, he wants to leave. I don't know.
I don't think
we do not have a worse first 11 than Crystal Palace. So what's he placing us beneath them for? They're also in Europe. We just don't. And Everton as well. Do we have a worse first 11 than Everton? I just don't think we do. Their midfield is Armstrong, Hackney, Dewsbury Hall. Garner's injured. I mean, we just don't. Why are we below them?
I don't know. I think though it's one of them when you're doing your 1 to 20, you have to come up with a reason, I suppose, don't you? And it's very, very easy to just say Sunderland Europe lower in the table.
Second season, XG, underlying data, bad second half of the season. Anything else I don't really know. I'm getting annoyed now.
Yeah, you are. You're getting really annoyed. Well, let's change tact. I watched this video yesterday about Coventry just to see what they were thinking heading into the new season. So this is not about Sunderland, but I just thought it was interesting to see how optimistic they were. So I hope I've got it to the right point. But yeah, we'll watch a couple of minutes of this.
Worried that everyone thinks we're going to do the best of the newly promoted teams. Having said that, we have to finish above Hull and Ipswich to have a chance of staying in the league. Then we need to catch one of the others. I'm looking at Fulham, maybe a Palace, maybe a Sunderland if they have a big drop-off. I think this good vibe, I think it does happen. I think we finish 17th, and it'll be the best 17th place finish we've ever seen. I think we will get over the line. I think it'll be really close, goal difference, final day, a classic Cov survival story back in the Premier League. I think we get it done. 17th by the skin of our teeth. That's what I'm going for. John?
15th.
Whoa!
I think
dizzying heights.
Yeah, I know that the lads fancy themselves at home against anyone. That's a big thing behind the scenes.
Do you know that line there? The lads fancy themselves against anyone at home. That's what they say behind the scenes. That's just a nonsense line. You know, like,
Who says
surely
half their squad don't know each other yet.
Well, the thing is, though, is like, surely every team thinks, at home, we got a chance. We're going to do well. Every team does.
I actually thought the first lad in the russet brown T-shirt there was fairly reasonable. Most Coventry fans have been absurd about what they're going to do.
Yeah, well, this guy's got 15th, and then the other one is at... I'll see if I can get his clip.
There's a lot of... We've had Frank now for...
Everyone's just sort of too negative on here, so I'm like, well, go on then. We'll go a couple higher. 15th. Go on.
Why not Europe? Let's dream big.
Why not, mate?
Jig, you gonna split the difference? What you say?
No, I'm going even higher.
What?
I am going even higher. I was going to say 12th, but that's probably too high. I'm going to go 14th. I think there's 9 new managers in the Premier League. There's a lot of change going on. There's a lot of... We've had Frank now for... This is our 3rd season with him. Well, 2.
See what I mean? This is what I mean. Everybody places a team based on the manager, not on the players. Look, I think it's been really interesting watching this on Twitter, because Coventry especially, we're going to smash it. It's all going to be fine. It's going to be great. Yada, yada, yada. We're going to do this. 2 things in that. Firstly, not a single Coventry fan would ever say we'll get Europe if we hadn't done it last year. It just would be an absurd conversation that nobody would ever say. They wouldn't be saying it. So first of all, that ambition is based upon something a completely different team did, not upon their team or anything they've done. So it's just ludicrous. And the second thing to say is that Coventry have been wild about some of their predictions. Although the first guy there was pretty reasonable. Most of them saying higher than that, 12th, top half, Europe. It's been wild. And Hull occasionally have said that. And out of the 3 promoted teams on Twitter, the team I have never heard brag about what they're going to do is the one team in those promoted teams who've been to the Premier League recently, Ipswich. Yeah. They've spent the most. I think they've bought some of the best players of the promoted teams, and they're the only fan base not shouting out how brilliantly they're going to do, because I think they know how hard it is. So it's just wild opinions. And kudos to the Ipswich fans for having a bit of sort of like, well, we've been here before. It's kind of tough. Let's just bide our passion.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah, I know. But I think they've got the best chance out of the 3 clubs. Yeah. But the Coventry euphoria is just wild.
Well, I think Simon Gilbert here has been a bit purposely.
This guy's a journo as well, isn't he? How many followers has he got?
He's a political journalist, 15.4. Footy post rarely serious. I think he's messing here, to be honest, because there's somebody in the comments that says, "Oh, Arsenal beat the ball," and he says, "I think we're favourites." So I think he's trolling. I think he's trolling.
He's just having a laugh. Okay.
He's just having a laugh. There's one more.
Who did they beat? Roma, or who was it they beat?
Oh, I've got no idea.
Leeds beat Roma. I think I can't remember.
No, Leeds beat Augsburg, and they both beat Leipzig, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't include this. I wonder. Yes, I wonder if we can. I can't do it. We'll have to save it for the next propaganda, because there's bound to be more. I saw an article about how have teams done in pre-season.
Oh yes, I saw that as well.
Their win rate, and that was mildly interesting. 100% win rate for, was it Brentford?
They've done the best. Newcastle are bottom.
We should have included it, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should have. You've also added this on, which has got nothing to do with promotion. But
let's save it for next time then, if you want to.
I'll just stick it on. I've got it there. Ticket price rises.
Pure.
We on number 1.
Click on the image. Can you bring the image up? Does it work like that? Oh, yeah. Can we zoom in a bit so people can see the? I don't know if you can. Can't, can you? No, it's not going to let you. Never mind. So we're number 1 with a 12.5% rise. And Man City are like bottom or something?
0.
0. And do you know what the problem with this is? The problem with this is that it doesn't tell you what the starting ticket price is or what the increased ticket price is. So it's all just a load of garbage, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because if you've got... Sunderland had, I think I paid maybe 480 last season, something like that, and mine rose to 550. So that's 70 quid, which is obviously a lot. It's more
the
than
equivalent ticket at Arsenal is £1,100.
Yeah,
whereas
so
ours is 550.
So if they rise though, 3.9%, which for them is probably worth another 100 quid.
So this is pure propaganda, trying to say, oh, terrible. But no, you're paying 550 at Sunderland and £1,100 at Arsenal. This is just it's a meaningless table, and you see things like that churned out all the time. Meaningless propaganda tables. What is it supposed to say?
Statistics, though. You can use them to make any point you want.
And we should be using that weekly in our previews
Always.
and reviews.
Yes, we will. So anyway,
poking you with XG to try and get a response.
You can prod me in person on the 28th of August at the Fans Museum.
We will be at the Fans Museum for the draw. Is that midday? I think it is.
Yes, it's 12. I'll also be there with my. I don't know if
Sign
you
your
knew
book.
this, but I've actually written a book. Did you know this?
Well, what's it about, Connor? What's it about? Sunderland are back. Tell me.
Yeah. So basically, to read the front, it is the story of Sunderland's rise from League One to Europe.
That sounds like a joyous read, a happy read.
It is.
The
It
sort of
is a
thing
happy
everybody
read.
can read in week 1 of the season, which is the only
is.
week where every fan of every club thinks they're all going to win.
So Sunderland are back. So I'll be there with copies of Sunderland are back.
So come and join us in the Fans Museum before midday and for the live Europa League draw and response. I did a little video on some of the teams we might play the other day. I don't know if you saw it. It's only 6 minutes.
I did. I watched
Very
it.
nice. Nothing
I did.
to steer so far.
No, that was the takeaway. You were just like, these are crap. These are crap. These are crap. It's like
But we might play one of the teams that won who are quite good.
Oh, okay, fair enough. We're all done. Here we've got a preview, which we're gonna do probably tomorrow. Is that what we decided on? I have a preview with Benjamin Bloom, where we talk about
Excellent stuff.
Ipswich. Yeah, so check that out. And I'm sorry, I've just had a drink and I'm about a hiccup. What else we got going on? Obviously, we've done propaganda today. I've got my 10:30 live streams. So, are you coming on the 10:30 live stream tomorrow?
I can
As
do,
I record
yeah.
this?
I mean,
Yeah.
it depends. If we make a signing, you might not need my support. But if we don't, then I can come on and talk.
Yeah,
about
well, I'll need some moral support for the Dejan Matali stuff. So yeah, we'll be back for the 10:30 streams, and then on Saturday, day of the game, I am gonna do a pre-game show. So I'll be on about 2:00 till maybe 2:15 when the team news comes out till about 2:30, and then I'll be back at full time. Are you here for the full time show?
At the weekend, yes, I believe I am. I'm not going anywhere because we're away. I was suddenly confused and thinking Fulham. I'm like, how are you going to be on at 2:30 for the Fulham game? You'll surely be in the ground.
No. This is just for away games. Well, because I don't want to. The thing is with the watch-alongs for the away games that aren't on the TV, I just think it's a bit dodgy.
Yeah, it is.
So
I shall be there post game for sure.
Excellent. Okay, well, we'll be going live probably 5:30, something like that, on Saturday for the post-game show. So we'll see you all for that. Thanks, everyone, for the support on the channels, and we will see you all very soon.